Scotland and England renewed their rivalry. It turned out to be a very comfortable evening for England, especially in the first half. Afterwards, Gareth Southgate, as you can imagine, was doing his post-match briefing and not happy, is he, with the situation with Harry Maguire and the stick that he thinks he's been getting. Essentially, a bit of a witch hunt, I think he's referring to, really. He says, I've never known a player treated the way he is, not by the Scottish fans, but by our own commentators, pundits, whatever it is. They have created something that's beyond anything I've ever seen. He's been an absolute stalwart for us in the second most successful England team for decades. He has been an absolute key part of that. He didn't start for England in this game, but did come on due to an injury to Mark Guehi in the second half. Is he right? Are we spending too much time talking about Harry Maguire? Or are we right to be critical?
Well, you have every right to be critical if you think a player's not playing well. International football is a very high level and the expectation at England is top notch. Okay. I think if Gareth came at an angle and just said, do you know what? I'm really loyal. As a manager, I'm really loyal. And I've trusted Harry, and I don't think he's let me down. I like a lot of things he gives to us, and I'm going to keep selecting him because I've done a comparison in midweek with Mick McCarthy playing for Ireland, and Jack Charlton loved playing Mick. And he had David O'Leary playing for Arsenal. I think Mick at the time was playing for Lyon, and Mick was being selected ahead of David O'Leary. Mm-hmm. Now, it's because Jack liked some of the things, the way that Mick played. He was no-nonsense, very commanding centre-half, when David was much more of a player, get the ball at his feet. So Jack just selected him. He's my number one. And I
get that. That happens in life. Yeah, there are always favourites. I understand that.
You have to be loyal, though, as a manager, Nat. I think this idea, and this is where I think I get a little bit frustrated, that you can't just keep chopping and changing just because you think, the world outside of you is saying, he's got to play. And, I think you have to show some sort of sense of loyalty. Now, if he played poorly enough, then I'm sure he'd make that call and say, yeah, I've got to leave him out. But I do think loyalty is a massive thing to get the very best out of squads and players.
I think with me, though, just to sort of give my 2 pence worth, it's not a personal thing against Harry Maguire, and there should never be any personal attacks about Maguire either. It should never go down that deep. But the problem is, it's the fact that, is he denying the opportunity for somebody else who is playing week in, week out for their club team and not getting that chance? In that game against Scotland, for example, did he have to bring on Harry Maguire? Could he not have brought on Levi Colwill? Could he not have brought on Fikayo Tomori, for example, just to see what they would be like? Because we know what Maguire does in the England team, because he's talked about it, Southgate, how great he has been in the England team. So why not give somebody else that chance? I think that's what it all comes down to. And like I say, should never be personal, should never go down that road at all. But you can talk about facts. You can talk about, well, this player is not playing for their club team, so why not just give somebody else a chance? That's all it is. Yeah. I think that's what the biggest issue in all of this really is. Like I say, it should never be personal in any nature. And if it does go down that route, well, that's poor in itself. But
you're right.
Yeah, I think...
You're right, Nat, that you should be giving other players the chance to show what they can do.
Friendly.
Yeah.
And I know you might not call it a friendly.
I do agree. That's what they're for. They're for trying to bolster the squad.
I just think it's a duty.
Who's capable. Yeah, I do agree with that.
I think it's just the duty of a manager, just to give others a chance.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.